stand. All right. Y'all kind of crouch in a little bit.
Sorry, I thought Stan was coming here.
All right. Y'all give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Okay, well, most of you know I'm Attorney General Alan Wilson. It is an honor to be here. It is a day we've been waiting for quite a few weeks, and we're so excited. It is a good day in South Carolina. I was actually this morning speaking to the Sheriff's Association when I heard the news. I was actually with Chief Mark Keel, and I was with the Special Agent in Charge, Jensen, when we learned that Jeroid Price is no longer a wanted man. And one of the reasons we're here today is first off, wanted to let people know that oftentimes people have their faith in the system shaken when they see an event occur. And I wanted to show South Carolina that there was, from the day that this incident occurred till the day that the court vacated that order that released him from prison prematurely, to the day that he started running till today, the day that he was apprehended, I want to underscore the partnerships that we had across the state of South Carolina, from here all the way up to New York. I want to thank first, obviously, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. I was with Special Agent in Charge Steve Jensen. Standing here today next to me is Assistant Special Agent in Charge Phil Tejera. Their counterparts in New York, and a joint task force with the New York Police Department apprehended Jeroid Price this morning at an apartment in the Bronx. I'm told that the apprehension was a non-use of force type apprehension. It was peaceful. He is now in custody. And I want to thank the FBI and the NYPD. I also want to thank Chief Keel and the men and women at the State Law Enforcement Division, as well as Sheriff Leon Lott and the men and women at the Richland County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Lott is traveling today, and Chief Keel is out of town with the sheriffs, so they could not be here, but I certainly want to thank them and show our appreciation. But I also wanted to have some folks representing the Sheriff's Department, and we have today from the Richland County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Chief Stan Smith, who actually was the original case investigator from the original trial involving Mr. Price, and Deputy Chief Maria Ituria, who is standing up here with me today. And I want to thank them. Also, I have members from the Attorney General's office, many of you know and have seen, and who worked on this case and reviewing all the law and all the things that it took for us to argue this before the Supreme Court. And I want to thank my team. Without them, this day would not have come. I also spoke this morning with the Smalls family, the victims in this case. And I was speaking with Mr. Smalls as I was traveling back to my office, and he was just expressing to me, and he gave me his permission to share with all of you how he was feeling. And I know that Sheriff Lott also spoke with Mr. Smalls and members of the Smalls family this morning. But Mr. Smalls, he told me, he said, Mr. Wilson, the Smalls family stands behind law enforcement. And he says, just this underscores our faith in the law enforcement community and that we appreciate the law enforcement community. And I asked him, well, can I quote you? And he said, yes, sir, absolutely. They are completely elated. Obviously, they shouldn't have had to go through this process from the beginning, but we are truly grateful for the efforts of our federal partners, our state partners. I'm personally grateful to the men and women in this office. I want to thank the Supreme Court for their majority decision that vacated the order that erroneously released Mr. Price, and just wanted to kind of let the people of South Carolina know that Jeroid Price is no longer a wanted man. He is in custody, and he will be returning to South Carolina very soon. With that being said, are there any questions from the media?
Can you tell us about the extradition process? How are we getting him back here to South Carolina?
I understand. I can't go into too many specifics because I'm not aware of them. I understand he has to appear before a magistrate up there, and then however long the process takes from him leaving New York to here, I can't tell you if it's going to be a couple of days or a week or two. I do know that when he is returned to South Carolina, he will be in process at the Kirkland facility with the Department of Corrections, and then they will make the determinations as to where he goes from there and when.
Do you have any idea about how long he's been out of state?
I don't know if... We know that obviously this case was heard, I think, the first week of March. Was that the first week of March? And he was pretty much on the run shortly thereafter. Was it the day after? Was it the following week? But we know that he was aware that the Supreme Court had made its ruling later that same day, and immediately left. Whether he was out of the state that day or the next day, I can't tell you, but I know that he intended to leave when he heard the ruling.
Do you know if anyone will be claiming the reward money?
I do not know that. I do know that the FBI, I think, did a match. The feds, along with the states, they matched the reward money. I don't know how that process works. I do know that there was a tip from South Carolina going up to the field office of the FBI in North Carolina, to their fugitive task force up there, and that that's what led to them getting eyes on him at his apartment complex, at the apartment that he was staying at, and they were able to get eyes on him. And I don't know if that was last night or this morning, but I do know he was apprehended this morning. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but while he was called up there, the process of finding out where he was began here in South Carolina. And I know that the Richland County Sheriff's Department, in conjunction with SLED and our federal partners, started with the Fugitive Task Force. That's why we have Richland County here today, because they were, along with SLED, working tirelessly to bring him back into custody.
Was he taken into custody without incident?
Yes. I am told that it was a non-use of force type event. I don't want to say it was peaceable, but there was no force needed, and he was apprehended without any event occurring.
Any info on his movements since he was released from prison?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Any info on his movements since he was released from prison?
I would have to actually tell you to go talk to the Fugitive Task Force or the folks in the FBI. They can probably talk about what they know. What I do know is that for a period of time, no one knew where he was, and it was only after the tip from this state was phoned in. There was a hotline here that went to the task force, that went up to New York, and that allowed the FBI, in conjunction and coordination with the NYPD, to find out where he was. So my understanding was his whereabouts were, as far as I know and what I've been told, were until recently unknown.
Talking about the teamwork that you guys all put together here across the state from multiple law enforcement agencies, what does that say about South Carolina that you guys were able to? It's been a long process trying to obviously find it.
Well, it says when there's an event, when there's a crisis or a significant event, that law enforcement comes together. And for all the in this day and age that we live in, where people have their smartphones and they're capturing a law enforcement incident, it's the worst case scenario. Every single day, men and women in law enforcement at the local, state, and federal level are working together with offices like mine and other AG's offices around the country to bring justice on behalf of the citizens of their state. And so what I wanted to do today was to showcase that, we all work together. Everyone had a role to play at a different phase of this entire process. And at the very end, the reason he is captured, the reason he is going back to prison where he belongs, is because of everyone standing up here and even some people who couldn't make it here today. So I just wanted to show the recognition where it is deserved.
Any idea why he was in New York? Does he have any sort of connections there?
I don't have the answer to that question right now. All I know is that a tip came from South Carolina, so someone down here knew that he was up there. They phoned it in. That tip was used by the Fugitive Task Force with the FBI and the NYPD up there to locate him at an apartment in the Bronx. And once they got eyes on him, they were able to intercept and apprehend him without incident. That is.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Any charges for maybe aiding him, or was there anybody that helped him get there or anything like that?
At this point, I don't have any comment on that because we don't know enough of the facts to make decisions. What I will say is my team here in the AG's office will be reviewing every legal option available to us, but I don't want to get out in front of my skis at this point because I don't have all the information.
What additional charges is he looking at?
Well, again, I don't want to get out in front of my skis until, obviously, he didn't break out of prison. He was released legally from prison, but then he ran once the order releasing him was vacated. I want to look at this with our team and make a decision at that time, and we'll certainly let you know.
We have time for one more.
You keep saying his apartment. Was it actually his apartment under his
An
name,
apartment.
or-
An apartment, at the apartment that he was staying. I don't have that information at this time. Obviously, as we get more information, as the FBI gets more information, I'm sure it will come out. We certainly want you to have all the information we have, but this is all very new. It's only been a few hours since he's been apprehended, and we want to make sure you guys had the information. I want to thank all of law enforcement. I'm grateful that the court, actually vacated this erroneous, unlawful order and sent him back to prison. Obviously, I'm going to be continuing to work on judicial reform as we move forward because I think it's an important thing to do. What I would like to say about that is that the public when the public sees stuff happen, it doesn't matter if something happens and it's completely legit. If it doesn't look legit, it causes people to question and lack faith in the system. And we want a system that is transparent and that people can have faith in. And that is one of the reasons I've been advocating for judicial reform. But in this particular case, the day was won. Mr. Price is apprehended. He's going back to prison. The Smalls family is happy, and it is a great day to be in South Carolina. So I appreciate you for being here today to cover it. And if anyone up here wants to make a comment after we adjourn this press conference, they're welcome to do so. But I appreciate y'all for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Anything else?